Hello, hello, hello. This is G. But do you know what we're going to talk about? Yeah, it's on the screen. Neptune retrograde. Hard to not see that. Let me see if you can see what I can see. Do you see what I see? Yep, you see what I see. Let's go big. Yeah, I like that better. All right, so this is it. Neptune retrograde is coming. Believe it or not, we are almost. Yeah, I don't know when you'll see this video, but July is coming up real quick. I'm at the beginning of June, and July 2nd is when the Neptune retrograde begins. So Neptune gets to 29 degrees and 55 minutes. To be clear, Neptune has been sitting at 29 degrees for a long time already. Okay, this is not a new degree. The 29:55 minutes matter, right? So in your chart, because Neptune is such a slow planet, sometimes those slower planets, like Pluto, Neptune, Sedna, the minutes really become prominent, meaning they become more obvious in our life. When it gets closer, when we get say I got something at 29:35, 29:45, sometimes you don't really realize or see the effect in your life until the minutes start to get closer to matching the minutes of the thing that you have in your chart in Pisces at that 29 degrees. Okay. Obviously, there are other things in your chart that can enhance, they can strengthen or weaken that effect. So it is very personal, very subjective. It's not a one rule fits all thing. That's not really. The things that we talk about on the channel are to give us some guidelines and the things to look at as we are learning and observing, because that's your greatest teacher, is to watch yourself and your actions and your thoughts within your own life as the influences of the planets shower down on you, so to speak, right? The impressions that they put us under. And Pisces, what's a good keyword for Pisces energy? And Neptune, by the way, because Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. So this Neptune has been very strong, and now it's finally at the 29 degrees. But what are some keywords? I said influences. So we think substances when we think Pisces. We're always talking about Jesus and the wine with Pisces energy, for sure, right? But substances in general. So we think medicine, drugs, hospitals, pharmacy energy is Pisces energy. It's substances. And many times people who have a lot of strong Pisces, a lot of strong Neptune, a lot of 12th house energy, right? You can put all the keywords within all those. There might be substance abuses, or you have these predispositions where you're like, oh my God, I know that I could very easily do that all the time if I weren't so on it and paying attention and like, oh no, I need to stop or I'm going to go there, right? So Pisces energy and its influences, how else does it influence? What happens when we get under the influence of a thing or a substance? Well, it makes things possibly sleepy. When people drink, some people go to sleep. A lot of people act very differently when they are under the influence of something, right? So we connect sleep mostly and confusion, right? Because dreams tend to be confusing, and sleep, we dream when we sleep. So that's all in the keywords for Pisces. Some more keywords for Pisces energy is understanding. It's like a surrender energy. It's understanding. It's a release. It's like I surrender to a higher power. Even this Pisces prayer, we think kumbaya and all that, and I'm praying to a higher power, and I'm relinquishing control and saying, Jesus, take the wheel thing, right? Where it's, I know I can't control everything. And sometimes I just have to have faith. Another keyword for Pisces, another keyword for Neptune. Okay. So all in all, if you look back in your life, or you look back, especially for the folks in the United States, Neptune takes approximately 14 years, roughly, give or take, to get through Pisces energy, to get through a sign, right? And so in that time, for us anyway, us having Pisces in our third house, the house of how we think and talk and relate and communicate, Pisces has been there, always there in United States birth chart. But then Neptune has been there, and Neptune is strong in Pisces. This isn't a place of its home. It's very comfortable here. So when it's comfortable in its home, think about it. What are some of the things that you do in your home that you do not do out in public? Right? The thing about Pisces is it's behind closed door type of energy all by itself. It's more like I'm secluded, or I'm even in solitude, or I'm isolated, because we think hospitals, we think some of the institutional energy within a society, hospitals, right? We feel alone and isolated in a hospital. Some say the monasteries, or if women, if you're in a convent, you're isolated in some way. Monks, you're isolated. Some even say prison. Yes, prison. If you look for prison in a chart, being locked up, being confined, uh, yeah, kind of lose some of your freedoms. And yeah, it's definitely going to be Neptune, 12th house, and Pisces energy that is part of that. And that's going to be where you find it in your chart when you find those symbols. So this begins July 2nd, 2024, that Neptune goes retrograde. And what does that mean? All the keywords I just talked about, all the things, all the examples for Neptune and Pisces. When a planet goes retrograde, it becomes stronger, meaning its meanings, its traits, its characteristics, its influence becomes stronger because it's retrograding. All right. The thing is, we're paying attention. 29 degree is a big deal because it's an extreme degree all by itself. That's what 29 is. It means it's extreme, and that's in any sign, 0 or 29, critical or anaretic degrees, however, whatever you want to call them. These are extreme degrees, and normally we will see things we maybe heard about but didn't see before. And so, great examples in the US. I'm not going to get into the politics, right? But we've seen with our political figures, not all of them, some are giving us really blatant, open, symbols of great examples of how I feel really comfortable, and I don't care who hears it, I'm going to say it. Remember, the ancient ruler of Pisces is what? Anybody remember? Neptune is a ruler of Pisces, but it also has one of the original traditional ancient rulers. And the ancient ruler of Pisces is Jupiter. And that's big in the US. Supreme Court justices. Oh my God. Political figures, politicians, public figures is Pisces' Neptune energy. This can be movie stars. This could be anybody who's in the limelight, anybody who's on the stage and screen, especially people who may not be necessarily on the stage and screen, but want to be. The influencers, they so badly want to be on the stage and screen, or they want to so badly influence and make that dollar, right? Make that money, be in the spotlight and persuade and manipulate. Maybe manipulate's too strong of a word, but hey, when you've got a platform, there's a lot of people who are watching you. Back in the day, it used to be when you have that sort of power, you have a responsibility, you have a duty to your fellow man. And that duty would be for the best, for the most involved, for the best for all involved, right? For humanity, not the best for the 1% type of thing, right? So we've kind of lost our way when it comes to that. I think there's lots of other examples which we're not going to go through of how that's happened with political figures, and I think this is worldwide. This is global. But yeah, right now in the U.S., many of us feel like we are absolutely fighting for our democracy, and we're hearing that cry around the world. Essentially, the United States, come on now! If you let your democracy fail, we're in trouble globally. So abuses of people in power, 29 degrees, Pisces and Neptune, for sure. Okay. So a retrograde means we will likely, like if we thought shit was crazy before, some of this will seem even crazier. And unfortunately for us, it's leading up into an election. Pisces gets to 29:55, it starts retrograding, and it goes back to 27 degrees. Okay. So that tells us that things will get wackier, get more extreme from people who are political figures. Again, doctors, hospitals, medicine, drugs, prison, isolation, prayer, and faith, unity and oneness. This is nature, by the way, because it's the greatest example we have of divinity. It's the greatest example we have of that which is more than me. Like, it should be not just about myself. It should be about the we energy, but on a really a global scale. This is when humanity comes together. Anyway, so the definition, the things that we're observing, that we'll see, that we'll hear about, stage and screen, music, even sound and musicians think about that too. stronger at that time. And this also means your sensitivities will increase at this time. And this can be depends upon like what's in your 12th house as far as your sensitivities. Where is your Pisces energy in your chart? Do you have planets in Pisces? Your sensitivities will increase. Okay. So you might need more sleep. You might need more rest. You might need moments of isolation and solitude. You might need that and respect it and honor it because if you need it, you need it. Right. Because you just might be kind of overwhelmed. This is an energy that feels easily overwhelmed. It can even feel like it's drowning to a degree because there's just too much and it can't handle all of it. And that's what happens because you're highly sensitive wherever your Pisces energy is in your chart. Okay. So 2955 happens on July 2nd. It travels all the way back to 27. Yeah, travels all the way back to 27 degrees. Had my arrow turned, but it didn't want to be turned, so we'll make one. All the way back to 2707. So it's just 2 degrees that it travels. You see? 2955, which is almost 30 degrees, right? To 2707. When it gets to that 2707, it stands still and goes forward again. Okay? And so that will be down here. That is going to be in December. Pisces gets to 2707 December 7th and it moves direct. It goes forward then. It goes forward. It will not get back to the 2955 for many months. We're into spring of 2025. Wild. I'm hearing myself say 2025. It's wild. It's still wild when I say 2024 to me. Especially when I hear my mom say it. She'll be like, "What's the date?" And I'm like, I don't know, there's just something there when you got someone who's in their 80s and they're like, "What's the date?" And and you gotta tell them and they're just you realize, like, you're speaking to history. You're speaking to living history at that moment, and you just realize this person has seen and heard and experienced so freaking much. Father fought in World War II. He came home. He didn't die. He fought and he returned from battle. She did lose a brother in Vietnam, though, served and came home in a body bag. A lot of the programs that really helped this country, right? You think of the GI Bill. You think of uh, the president at that time, right, who just had these, you know, the CCC, like just a lot of really wonderful jobs, tasks, projects, job creation, infrastructure building which we need redone, right? It's that infrastructure that generation built that we're looking at now, and we're like, "Oh my god, it's so old, it's falling apart," right? So, it's kind of and it's time for that to occur again because everything is it only lasts for so long. And while Pisces is water energy, and wherever there's gonna be water, emotions and sensitivities and attachments come with it. Pisces is super addictive energy, super addictive. And it's the water element, not to say that there's not another sign. Taurus is what I desire. And so that's also the ability to have those super addictive tendencies. But Pisces, under the influence, and I just want to stay under the influence. I want to be over there. I don't want to have to face reality. That's Pisces because reality is too harsh. So Pisces says, hey, don't worry about it. Have a sip, have a drink, go to sleep, watch a movie, listen to some music, escape. That's Pisces energy, escape. It's also martyr energy. So I'm giving you a lot of keywords for positive and negatives, for vices and virtues of this same energy. Some of them seem strange, like, hey, that doesn't make sense. It's a contrast. It is. All energy has the same qualities of positive and negative traits. This side and that side. They run along the same line of energy. This side at the extreme is one way, this side the extreme is another way. And they seem like they're so different, but they're the two sides of the same coin in essence. Okay. We got to be realistic. And normally we don't, if we have a strong opinion about something, especially if we feel like we're a little on the extreme side, whatever that opinion may be, we don't normally come to an understanding. Neptune and Pisces, even Jupiter, we don't normally come to an understanding. Jupiter is known as the planet of wisdom, is known as the world traveler, and I'm wise to the ways of the world, right? We don't normally come to those understandings until it hits home, until we have a child where something horrible has happened. And all of a sudden, we've got unbelievable medical bills. And we're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And then we're like, holy shit, thank God for the social programs, right? So let's just, let's just understand that we're here trying to create a society of support and compassion with balance. Okay. And that's, I think, realistic. And I think it's probably one of the more saner ways to move forward instead of some of the very extreme things. And to be clear, there's so many abuses. I hear people always all the time talking about abuses of the system, people getting their food stamps or whatever. And oh my God, but nobody complains about the rich not paying taxes, right? The wealthy paying the least amount of taxes. Why don't we complain about that? Argue and they fight against their own best interests because they've been purposely misinformed. And this is everything I'm talking about all falls under Pisces and Neptune energy. So when you hear a retrograde coming, you can be sure that it is a time where we are being tested. It is believe it or not, Pisces, clouds of confusion, illusion, and delusion. So what's the test in that? To teach me how to take off my rose-colored glasses, to realize I'm wearing rose-colored glasses, to be able to take them off and have the strength and the faith to see the truth. How to be able to see it. We have to see it within ourselves. We have to say, is this realistic? Is my thinking grounded in reality? Where's the information? Where's the data? Where's the facts to back this up? And to really put in the time as opposed to just believing what's being shoveled and what's being talked about and clicking because of the fear, whatever the hell, the clickbait, the fear, rage, all that stuff that just so many people who are so giving and so kind fall prey to. And that is a huge tendency to be duped is Neptune in its Pisces energy. To be duped and to fall because we have our rose-colored glasses on. We have such an high ideal. I lived through this. I've seen where my Neptune ways really had me many times in very delusional moments where somebody could say something or be a certain way, and my Neptune energy would be so strong I would immediately just not even allow myself to consider what I was seeing and hearing right in front of my very eyes. And it wasn't until many years later now that I can look back and I'm like, I feel so I feel so stupid. Feel so stupid. But I'm not too harsh on myself. I just do promise myself never again. Never again. So have I become a little thick-skinned? Absolutely. And that is the test also of Pisces because remember of the sensitivities. It's teaching us, yes, life can be harsh. There can be things in realities, harsh realities we don't want to see that we don't want to deal with. And so we won't even allow our mind to go there because this is beliefs. This is beliefs. Remember I talked about faith. Faith, so religion and spirituality and beliefs, right? Jupiter for sure, beliefs. Sometimes we come across something that really challenges our beliefs. It really challenges what we were brought up to believe and our faith. Remember, folks, life is a journey. This isn't about blame, but this is about make it okay to hear those questions. Make it okay to ask questions about your faith and how you can see your faith in your life. And ask yourself, the deep questions that only you know that you can ask yourself and see. It's not about all of a sudden having oh my God, I'm having a moment. I need to be baptized, or I don't, or I'm walking away from this particular faith. No, you're looking for balance because with all the energies, there is this thing where we could express over here or over here. The trick is we want to be right there in the middle. We want to be in a balanced state of mind, a balanced state of emotional health and well-being. And the retrograde time shows us the extremes. It shows us those extremes. And the secret to the retrogrades, specifically this sort of a one with Neptune and Pisces, truth, to reveal and to show you the truth. Even though at first you may be like, well, that's the truth. Look at that. And it's glorious, right? It's glorious. And it's like, yes. But then if you're really paying attention, if you're being honest with yourself, you realize, son of a bitch, that was a damn wolf in sheep's clothing, right? So this is just to say the retrograde, Neptune retrograde, what's the truth that's revealed to you? Those of you who have something in your chart in the signs of Gemini, you see where it's going to hit, right? Late degrees of Gemini. It's a square. It's a stress and attention. 27 to 29 degrees. Okay. I wouldn't give more than a 2-degree orb at all. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. I wouldn't give more than a 2-degree orb unless you have multiple planets, unless you have stuff there in the later degrees of Gemini, which would include 0 degrees and 1 degrees of Cancer. It's a square, stress, and tension. There's another square the other way. The other square the other way is going to be right here. This is Sagittarius. Yeah, it squares Saggy, and it's a mutable sign. The latter degrees, same degrees. We'll say 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. And then we can cover like 0 and 1 degrees of Cappy. Okay? So those are the squares, the stress, and the tension. You see that on the chart. If I back it up just enough. All right? Those are your squares. For those of you, for the trine energy, that's the next sign right after the water sign, to Scorpio in the later degrees. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and maybe 0 and 1 degrees of Saggy, out of sign trine. That's okay. And then the other way, the other trine is going to be Cancer, the latter degrees, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 0 and 1 degrees of Leo. Again, I would only give you the bigger orb is if you have objects like a house cusp line or planets or even asteroids, whatever it is that you have there at those later degrees. Because it's a slow-moving planet, because it's Neptune, it's really the minutes. So those are the squares and the trines. And the trines, something just easily falls into place. Something just easily happens. Your emotions are definitely amped up because it's water. This likely will be a real test for those individuals. If you are not clear seeing, if there's not, if some part of your belief is not rooted in reality, okay, because something may just be too good to be true. It's a possibility that it probably is, or that person probably is, right? That's how that works. The test is for the rose-colored glasses. Are you going to take them off? Are they still on? Have you gotten to that point in your life where you can see when you were wearing your rose-colored glasses, where you can see how you ignored certain things that you purposely, your mind just totally overlooked, pushed them away because it didn't want to deal with it. That's how it looks. That's how it feels. That's how it works in the brain. It's all about the beliefs, okay? So it's tricky. You got any questions? Comment below. We'll do another chart to show us the Neptune, where it sits up in the sky, where other planets are. But this is to give you the heads up because this is coming soon, right? We're weeks away from this. And you can be prepared by seeing the location and the degrees and the time, the dates of when this occurs for the Neptune retrograde. All right. Take care. Appreciate your time. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.